Hey, welcome back. This is the Neville Goddard At Your Command Chapter 1 reaction. Uh, I'm going to read Chapter 1, okay, and I'm going to discuss what I see Neville is saying in the book. Now, I want to my goal in this video is to, hey, welcome to the channel. If you are the first time, hey, welcome to the channel. Hey, welcome to the channel. This is my reaction to Neville Goddard and the first chapter of At Your Command, which was Neville's first book, written in 1939, I believe. And so what I want to do is read the first chapter and give you my interpretation of what he's saying in the book. Now, it's pretty for me, this was the first book I read from Neville, and it blew me away. And it was very simple to the idea, the concept was very simple, and I found it very easy to understand and pick up right away. Now, some people have a challenge interpreting or understanding what Neville is saying, and maybe it can seem abstract for some people. And if that's not you, great. But I haven't ever seen anybody do a reaction video to Neville. And uh, so I wanted to create one, and I think this will be very beneficial. So I'm going to try to be as just objective as possible. And so let's jump right in. Okay. Uh, can man decree a thing and have it come to pass? Most decidedly he can. Man has always decreed that which has appeared in his world, and is today decreeing that which is appearing in his world, and shall continue to do so as long as man is conscious of being man. No one thing has ever appeared in man's world but what man decreed that it should. This you may deny, but try as you will, you cannot disprove it, for this decreeing is based upon a changeless principle. So decreeing, if you're not familiar, is a legal term, lawful term. You've probably heard of a marriage decree. So it's another way of saying, a written or spoken truth or fact in some way. So an expressed truth or fact, either in writing or verbally. Okay. So you do not command things to appear by your words or loud affirmations. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. Decreeing is ever done in consciousness. That is, every man is conscious of being that which he has decreed himself to be. The dumb man without using words is conscious of being dumb. Therefore, he is decreeing himself to be dumb. So, continuing on, when the Bible is read in this light, you will find it to be the greatest scientific book ever written. Instead of looking upon the Bible as the historical record of an ancient civilization or the biography of the unusual life of Jesus, see it as a great psychological drama taking place in the consciousness of man. Claim it as your own, and you will suddenly transform your world from the barren deserts of Egypt to the promised land of Canaan. Everyone will agree with the statement that all things were made by God, and without him there is nothing made that is made. But what man does not agree upon is the identity of God. All the churches and priesthoods of the world disagree as to the identity and true nature of God. The Bible proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that Moses and the prophets were in 100% accord as to the identity and nature of God. and Jesus' life and teachings are in agreement with the findings of the prophets of old. Moses discovered God to be man's awareness of being when he declared these little understood words, I am hath sent me unto you. David sang in his Psalms, Be still and know that I am God. Isaiah declared, I am the Lord, and there is no one else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee. Though thou hast not known me, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. The awareness of being as God is stated hundreds of times in the New Testament. To name but a few, I am the shepherd, I am the door, I am the resurrection, I am the life, I am the way, I am the Alpha and Omega, I am the beginning and the end. And again, whom do you say that I am? It is not stated, I, Jesus, am the door, I, Jesus, am the way, nor is it said, whom do you say that I, Jesus, am? It is clearly stated, I am the way. The awareness of being is the door through which the manifestations of life pass into the world of form. Okay, let me stop right there. So he said a whole lot. And I'm sure Neville was probably called a heretic in his day because, the Christian faith would disagree and say that no, when Jesus says, I am the light, I am the way, no, he's saying that he meant to say that him, Jesus, is the light and the way. Nobody can come to the Father but through me. He wasn't saying that I am, meaning your inner being, and so I think some of us already know that probably. If you're a Christian, you would disagree with that statement that that's not what Jesus meant. He clearly means that only Jesus is the light and the way. So this is an interpretation, an esoteric metaphysical interpretation of Jesus's teachings, and that Christ consciousness is actually, Neville is saying that Christ consciousness is your birthright, and that you you manifest, you know, through the awareness of being that God is within. Okay, so I don't particularly like to use the word manifestation. It's so overused, and it's just kind of got a negative connotation to it now, and it's misinterpreted. So I think it turns off a lot of people as well when you say manifestation, but manifestation is used in the Bible. That is a word that is used. Going back to the Old Testament in Exodus is where Moses, comes to the burning bush, and he asks God, who shall I say sent me? And God responds and says, Tell them I am hath sent me. The I amness within, we all have our the I am, a consciousness. And so in a sense, I mean, we all are children of God, whether you believe that or not. Um, I say we are, and so so I believe you can take the literal interpretation that only Jesus is the way, the light, and the truth to salvation. And also you can accept and you can interpret the other meaning, that we do, in a sense, save ourselves from our own sin and self-imposed nonsense. So this is a really powerful couple of paragraphs here in the book. And to continue on, Consciousness is the resurrecting power, resurrecting that which man is conscious of being. Man is ever out picturing that which he is conscious of being. This is the truth that makes man free, for man is always self-imprisoned or self-freed. If you, the reader, will give up all your former beliefs in a God apart from yourself and claim God as your awareness of being, as Jesus and the prophets did, you will transform your world with the realization that I and my Father are one. This statement, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I, seems very confusing, but if interpreted in the light of what we have just said concerning the identity of God, you will find it very revealing. Consciousness, being God, is as Father. The thing that you are conscious of being is the Son bearing witness of his Father. It's like the conceiver and its conceptions. The conceiver is ever greater than his conceptions, yet ever remains one with his conceptions. For instance, before you are conscious of being man, you are first conscious of being, or I am. Then you become conscious of being man, yet you remain as conceiver greater than your conception, man. So if that is a little abstract for you and it doesn't quite make sense, we could also give an example like, you know, whatever you put after I am, you become. So first we're conscious of being conscious, so I am. Then what you put after I am, like I am smart, you become. You embody that which you put after I am, whatever it is, good, bad, and positive or negative. And and uh, and so it's like also being an artist. So your creation is what you gave birth to. And so we could say that is your, the child or the son, and you being the creator of the creation is the father consciousness first. So continuing on, in the awareness of being, all things are possible. He said, you shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. This is his decreeing, rising in consciousness to the naturalness of being the thing desired. As he expressed it, and I, if I be lifted up, I shall draw all men unto me. If I be lifted up in consciousness to the naturalness of the thing desired, I will draw the manifestation of that desire unto me. For he states, no man comes unto me, save the Father within me draws him, and I and my Father are one. Therefore, consciousness is the Father that is drawing the manifestations of life unto you. You are at this very moment drawing into your world that which you are now conscious of being. Now you can see what is meant by you must be born again. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression in life, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems so real to you and rise in consciousness to that which you desire to be. You cannot serve two masters. Therefore, to take your attention from one state of consciousness and place it upon another is to die to one and live to the other. The question, whom do you say that I am, is not addressed to a man called Peter by one called Jesus. This is the eternal question addressed to oneself by one's true being. In other words, whom do you say that you are? For your conviction of yourself, your opinion of yourself will determine your expression in life. Okay, let me say something about this. So there there is there is a belief, or some would say that all the characters in the Bible are states of consciousness, that those characters are actually, it's a great drama, and all those characters we embody in one form or another throughout our journey. Some At one point we become, a follower, where at one point we become a Judas and betray someone. At another point we become Christ-like and are reborn and are resurrected newly. So if you've never heard that before, that is one, esoteric interpretation of the Bible, that these are states of consciousness, that these characters are archetypes that we each will embody on our journey, and eventually end as a new being, the resurrected Christ. Uh, and that's what Neville's pointing to here, is that we embody this new being, that we can be born again, but that we can only serve one master. And the way I interpret that is that we look out into the world and we can see that there's a world out there telling us who we are. Okay, society tells us who we are. I mean, from the time we're born, our parents tell us who we are, our teachers tell us who we are, society tells us who we are, so on and so forth. And now you can accept that as true, or or starting right now, you can declare and decree who you are. I am fill in the blank, okay? But you can't have both. You're either going to be one or the other. So you choose. And continuing on, he states, "You believe in God, believe also in me." In other words, it is the me within you that is this God. Praying, then, is seen to be recognizing yourself to be that which you now desire, rather than its accepting form of petitioning a God that does not exist for that which you now desire. God. Mm. Okay, prayers to be successful must be claiming rather than begging. So if you would pray for riches, turn from your picture of poverty by denying the very evidence of your senses, and assume the nature of being wealthy. We are told, when you pray, go within secret and shut the door, and that which your Father sees in secret, with that will he reward you openly. Okay, so powerful paragraph there. And basically he's saying that you must just ignore, for lack of a better term, ignore your senses, what you see, what what you interpret from your environment, how much money is in your bank account today, what kind of car you're driving right now, or where you're living, or so whatever, regardless of what you have or don't have, you basically just, I say ignore, but you just, put that out, just you observe it, but ignore it, and essentially just stay true to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, already being, having, or doing that which you're aiming at. Okay. And that uh, you pray, you go within in secret and shut the door. So that can be a meditation or visualization or stillness practice. there's more than one way to focus your energy and your being on what it is you're aiming for. And okay, he goes on to say, we have identified the Father to be the awareness of being. We have also identified the door to be the awareness of being. So shutting the door is shutting out that which I am now aware of being and claiming myself to be that which I desire to be. The very moment my claim is established to the point of conviction, that moment I begin to draw unto myself the evidence of my claim. Do not question the how of these things appearing, for no man knows that way. That is, no manifestation knows how the things desired will appear. Consciousness is the way or door through which things appear. He said, I am the way. Not I, John Smith, am the way, but I am. The awareness of being is the way through which the thing shall come. The signs always follow, they never precede. Things have no reality other than in consciousness. Therefore, get the consciousness first, and the thing is compelled to appear. So we we are often get caught up in the how, right? How am I going to reach my goal? How am I going to get this? We don't see how we're going to get to the end result. And as my mentor would tell me, how is not your business. Your business is to know what. What is it that you want? Decide what it is. And then the how is left up to your faith and to the Father, the universe. Okay, if we already knew how to make the desired amount of money or make the result happen, well, we would have already done it by now, right? So you are told, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things shall be added unto you. Get first the consciousness of the things that you are seeking and leave the things alone. That is what is meant by ye shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. Apply this principle and you will know what it is to prove me and see. The story of Mary is the story of every man. Mary was not a woman, giving birth in some miraculous way to one called Jesus. Mary is the awareness of being that ever remains virgin. No matter how many desires it gives birth to, right now, look upon yourself as this Virgin Mary, being impregnated by yourself through the medium of desire, becoming one with your desire to the point of embodying or giving birth to your desire. So, yeah, this would be one of those instances where Neville would be accused of heresy. And, it's also, you might have heard this interpretation of the conscious mind being the male or masculine and the subconscious being the feminine. And so we take the conscious idea of what we desire and we impregnate or impress upon our subconscious mind and allow the subconscious mind to give birth to the desired outcome or result. Okay, because we don't know what's in our subconscious mind, and we don't even understand how the subconscious mind works completely, other than that what you put into your subconscious mind turns what you put into your subconscious mind becomes eventually manifests itself into your reality. So if you keep putting in negative ideas through your conscious mind without critically thinking, without filtering in the ideas and information, okay, it's going to affect your mood. Your subconscious is your mood, and so we are your emotional state. So we want to, and that's why Neville would, really hammer in this idea of assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, because if you can feel it, his book, your feeling is your fortune. That's the subconscious mind. So Mary, in the, one interpretation is Mary is the feminine subconscious mind that gives birth to the conscious. So we bypass and go straight to the feeling, okay, and assume the feeling of our wish fulfilled, okay, in order to manifest the desired result. So I'm repeating myself on purpose because sometimes, you just need to hear something repeated, to make it click, and hear it said in different ways also to have it click. So continuing on, for instance, it is said of Mary, whom you know to be yourself, that she knew not a man, yet she conceived. That is, you, John Smith, have no reason to believe that which you now desire is possible. But having discovered your awareness of being to be God, you make this awareness your husband and conceive a man child, manifestation of the Lord. For thy Maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name. The Lord God of the whole earth shall be called. Your ideal or ambition is this conception. The first command to her, which is now to yourself, is go tell no man. That is, do not discuss your ambitions or desires with another, for the other will only echo your present fears. Super powerful. So I just gotta say this, that a lot of times we'll go and share with people our goals and dreams and desires. And actually, I found that it weakened my intent. It weakened my 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 belief and my conviction and possibility of what it was I was trying to accomplish. So actually, rather than tell people what I'm gonna do, yeah, I would just tell people, like, after I accomplish it, after it's already said and done, then I would say, hey, you know what I did, or guess what I accomplished, like after the fact. Because I guess it borderlines on superstition, but sharing with the people closest to me what my goals and dreams were, I found them to be the most skeptical and sometimes judgmental. So I just kept it to myself and actually found that worked for me. So something to be mindful of. And let's see if there's anything else to say about this. No, no, there's not. So in closing, the first chapter, secrecy is the first law to be observed in realizing your desire. The second, as we are told in the story of Mary, is to magnify the Lord. We have identified the Lord as your awareness of being. Therefore, to magnify the Lord is to revalue or expand one's present conception of oneself to the point where this revaluation becomes natural. When this naturalness is attained, you give birth by becoming that which you are one with in consciousness. Okay, so that's the first chapter and my reaction on Neville's Neville's teaching here. Um, we made some good points and clarified some things here. So let me know if that was beneficial for you. Let me know if any part of this didn't make sense, if I didn't make sense, or if what Neville was saying didn't make sense, or just any feedback. I welcome. And thanks very much for watching. Hope it was beneficial. See you on the next one.